What is up, dudes? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we are taking a look at a very special figure. This is the 100 years of the Phantom of the Opera, and I thought it would be very fitting to review this new figure of the Phantom of the Opera, the Red Death Phantom. I have been wanting to rewatch the Phantom of the Opera for a long time. Haven't really got around to doing it, but I am just so thrilled to have this figure in hand, because this figure alone I have been wanting Neca to make for so long, and it's finally here. Of course, before we start with the review, I would like to ask, subscribe if you want. That's totally fine if you don't, but hey, it helps the channel out a lot if you do. And of course, join my Instagrams and stuff that are in the description below. Now, the Red Death Phantom box looks phenomenal. I absolutely love the way this thing looks. I love the city in the background. I love the colors of yellow being used. I love the two kind of main characters at the bottom and the Phantom just lingering from the top in this very nice looking pose he's got going on here. The sides of the box just have images of the figure, which is pretty cool. I really do like the way the figures look on each of the sides here. At the bottom of the box, there's really nothing, and at the top, there's just the name. So nothing crazy going on with the sides and bottom and top of the box, but the back of the box does have some very nice images of the Phantom himself, which look pretty cool. The inside of the box has the Phantom just kind of lingering there, which looks awesome. And of course, you have the figure here. Now, taking out the figure, he does have a very cool kind of slipcover design. It's just of like the stairs, which the stairs is pretty cool. I really do like the way it looks. Not my favorite out of the slipcovers we've taken a look at before, but it's still pretty cool. The cape is completely separate in its own bag at the very bottom of the tray, and you can just take the Phantom out. He's super easy to take out. Just make sure the hat doesn't, come loose and you drop it somewhere. I don't know, but it is really cool to see this Phantom. So, accessory-wise, he has a very nice range of accessories. I really do like the way the hands are sculpted. Now, he has a lot of these open palm hands, and pretty much all of them are very different from each other, but they do look nice. They really do give him that kind of, that shake operatic vibe, I guess, for the silent era, where you have to use your hands to communicate your feelings and stuff. And the hands are definitely a big part to show more emotion, and he definitely has a nice array of hands here. He's got those hands, he's got kind of like these pointing hands, which look very nice. Something about these hands, though, is that they're painted nicely, but there's like a really weird kind of light or very light gray dry brushing in them, which you can kind of see on camera. You see it a little bit more off camera, but I don't know, there's something about his hands that I don't really care for, that they're painted like that. It's just a weird thing that they did. I don't know. I prefer the original Phantom's painted hands a lot better, but he does come with these hands here. He does also come with one grabby hand. This one is for his basic staff, I guess is what you would call it. Looks pretty cool. I really do like it, but just to kind of show you guys the side-by-side between the old Phantom hand and the new one, you could see that the newer one on the left side, now it's on the right, has a little bit more of a lively flesh tone than the older one, but I like the older one more because it just looks a little bit more cleaner. And I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but I like the way the right hand looks right now instead of the newer one, and it looks a little bit more clay-like for some reason for the older one, and I do like the more realistic look of the new one, but I just don't care for the white. That's pretty much my only gripe. I do like these hands. These are his other hands. These are the stock hands. I was going to show these earlier, but I completely forgot they were on the figure. But these are just more of open hands. He's had a lot of open hands. He's had no closed hands, but honestly, that's totally fine. I'm pretty sure you can interchange the hands with the old Phantom too. It would just look a little off. Now, coming to his heads, he does have 3 different head designs, and this one is of the mask, the masquerade skull mask that really brings this entire look together, and it looks phenomenal. I think that this looks so good. It looks pretty accurate to what we see on the screen, and I really love that red bandana. And there's even these little painted jewels that are on there as well, that are like a darker red or a black. And the detailing on the face is just so good looking. It's horrifying to look at, to be honest. I just really love the way it looks, and I love the exposed nose as well. I think that's nice. Comparing that next to Sideshow's, I mean, Sideshow's was good, but Neca really blew it out of the water, and Sideshows definitely did not have the red bandana as you see here, so that's kind of an interesting thing to kind of see, and you can kind of see it there, but it's just so cool. I just really love this head sculpt, and I think it's definitely the one that I'm going to be displaying the figure with the most. He does come with this head sculpt, which is no different than the one that came with the original. I believe the eyes are a little bit weirdly painted. The older one had a better paint job with the eyes, and this one, you could barely see it on camera. It's barely noticeable, and honestly in person too, you can't really notice it, but it's yeah, I don't know. There's just something about the eyes that just look a little off. I don't know if you can see it, but in person, there's just something a little off with the eyes. They don't look as glossy as the older eyes. And of course, he does come with another head sculpt, which this one also came with the older Phantom. Nothing is different with these two head sculpts, which honestly, I'm fine with. I really do like the way these head sculpts look. There's really no change compared to the old one and the new one for this head sculpt. I think maybe the eyes might be a little less glossy as well, but I could just be completely mislooking at it. I don't know. The staff he does come with looks really cool. I really like the serpent wrapping around the entire staff area. It's also pointing at the very bottom, so be careful. I like the scale works here, and I really like just the way it looks, and I like the overall concept of it. The skull looks a little funny to me, and I don't know why. I'm gonna have to bring out the Sideshow one in a second, but it just looks so odd, and I just don't care for it. The little white at the bottom too just looks a little odd, and here's the Sideshow one. And yeah, that's basically why. The skull on the Sideshow one looks so much better. I think the serpent as well for the head looks better too. I don't know, man. I think Sideshow wins with this one. I think that the skull looks so much better on Sideshow's compared to Neca's. The staff is also a little bit thicker, I think, for Sideshow, and the scales are more exposed than the newer one, but yeah, in terms of like the overall skull, I think that Sideshow definitely does win this one, and honestly, Sideshow needs a little bit of a win, so honestly, I'll take it. The newer one also has a problem with the snake kind of popping off, for me at least. It's not a bad fix, I can easily fix that myself, but yeah, it's just kind of a weird issue. I don't think Sideshow has that problem. I think it's completely sculpted instead of separately sculpted like this, so kind of weird, you know? I do like the hat. The hat does look very nice. I think that it looks great. I love the fluffiness of the part that's just attached to the hat, and I like the overall shape of the hat too. It just looks cool. I really do like it. It looks like a mess when you first look at it, to be honest, but when you have it on the figure, it looks so much better on the figure, so it is pretty neat. There is a little bit of issues with it. There's just like this weird glob of red right here, which I might have to paint over, and there's a little bit of streaks of red that are on the actual hat, so that kind of sucks. So I might have to go in there and fix that myself. Comparing that to the original hat just looks so interesting, and it worked for the time, but yeah, I definitely think that the newer one looks so much better, but I do like the red feather though. I think the red feather is pretty cool instead of the sculpted plastic, because I don't know, sometimes sculpted plastic could be a jumbled mess, but I think they did a pretty good job with how Neca did their hat, so pretty cool at least. The cape that he does come with too is huge. He has a big ass cape, and I really like the way it looks. I love the collar piece. I think it looks nice. I love the string, and I love the whole collar piece basically. The fabric of the cape actually feels nice. I really like the silkiness of it. There is a bendy wire at the front and not all the way around, which kind of sucks. I kind of wish it was all throughout, but it's just the front part, and I do like these shiny little jewels that you do see on the figure and, you know, just on everything in general, so that's pretty neat. Now, putting together the Red Death look. It's super simple. Of course it is, because, you know, it's nothing crazy. It's not like a Transformer figure, but putting everything together and giving him all of his accessories, we can finally look at the Red Death Phantom, which, man, he looks fantastic. Everything that I wanted from a Red Death Phantom looks so good. I love the detailing on this guy. It is amazingly done. It's a super simple design when it comes to the whole front to the legs part, but I love the arms, and it just pulled it off so well. And I think that they just nailed the look of this guy, and it just looks so good. Accompanying that with the bendy wire cape, and it just flows so nicely when you have it in some dynamic poses and stuff. The feet look nice. I like the shoes. The kind of texturing and overall look of the pants are nice. I really like the overall look of this entire outfit, with the jewels kind of coming at the collar here and a little bit at the belt, and the wrinkling as well looks nice. The entire shoulder from the kind of sleeve area looks so good. I love how puffy everything looks with this outfit. Looks amazing. I think that they did a fantastic job with that, especially around this area. I think that's awesome. I think Sideshow definitely did a great job with it, but I think this one definitely did just as good. And the mask and the hat just pull everything together. Comparing these two together, I mean, there's really no right or wrong answer in which one you like. I think both of them look very good. Both of them have qualities about them that I do like. I really like that you can put Sideshow's hands all the way up to his chest. This is pretty much as far as you go, because the posability on the arms are not as great as I wish they were, but he's still very cool. I really like both of them. I would suggest going for Neca's, but if you want, I think the Red Death Phantom from Sideshow is just as good. When you compare the new heads, though, the other alternate heads, Neca definitely wins, because this Sideshow head is rough, and yeah, it's just not great overall when it comes to this extra head for Sideshow. But yeah, Neca definitely blew it out of the water with this entire look, and this head just fits so well with this entire look, and I think they just did a fantastic job. And you can really get some amazing poses out of these heads. I mean, we didn't get two of the heads that came with the original Phantom, but honestly, there's so much emotion into these head sculpts without the mask that it's just so good. I really do like the way that these two heads look. There are two heads, like I just mentioned, that do not come with this Red Death Phantom. These did come with the original, and they are, you know, compatible with this entire Red Death look. And it's awesome because it gives you a little bit more range of emotions when it comes to this figure, and I think that's great. It gives you another reason to get the original figure, because honestly, when you get the original and this one, you have the entire look of the Phantom, and it's just awesome, especially when you get those two extra head sculpts. That's amazing when it comes to these figures. Now, there's one issue that I have with this figure that I really don't like, and it's the way he stands. His legs are just not meant for standing for some reason. Like, the legs are just too small, and so are the feet, to hold up this big body, the big hat, and the cape. You really gotta just fiddle around with it just to get it at the right spot. And it sucks, because I wish that, you know, the standing was so much better. I wish they gave you a base, not like the one they did with the Wolfman, because that one kind of sucked. But this is just kind of sad. You can get it to work, but you really just have to finagle it, or whatever the word is I'm trying to think of at the top of my head. You really just gotta mess with him a lot to get what you want with him in posing. And some of the shots I'm actually was frustrated so much about. But taking off the cape, and I guess the hat as well, we're going to go over posability. So when it comes to the head, with this entire look, because of these strings, it kind of limits the posability just a tiny bit, nothing crazy, but he can look up that far, down that far, some side to side, and of course a rotation, which is a little tight, but that is because of the kind of extra string that's going on with the head. When you have the original head, it has a little bit more range in posability, and it spins around a lot more easier than the other head. So the arm can also go out that far. He has a full rotation at the shoulder, so that's nice. He has a nice bicep swivel. The bend at the elbow sucks. It's just a single bend. I wish it was a double. He has a swivel at the hand and a hinge joint as well. It's kind of hard because of the sleeves, but yeah, you can get it to work. He has a swivel at the waist that can go a full 360. Has a little bit of a crunch and a little bit of an arching back. He has a nice spread at the legs. The kind of skirt piece does hinder it a little bit. It can kick out that far and can kick back really far, so that's nice. Has a nice bend at the knee. It's kind of scary because it feels like it's going to snap. It's probably not, but whatever. It can have an up and down at the foot. Has a rotation and a pivot, so very nice posability overall. There's just a couple things that I don't care for. The height of the figure you can see on screen. I really do like the size of this guy, and here he is next to the Sideshow one, which the Sideshow one, granted, is on a base, and I cannot take them off the base because, well, they're old figures and the peg for it broke, so gluing the figure on the base was definitely the best option, especially, you know, these are statue pieces basically, so yeah, I am very happy with the way it looks overall though. I have to say that Neca definitely did win this one, because of course they did. It would be kind of sad if they didn't, but it would also show that, you know, Sideshow definitely is pretty good overall, you know what I mean? But I think with this Red Death, the Phantom for Neca definitely wins the cake. If you do get Sideshows, honestly, be happy with that, because this is a great figure as well. And here's also another Sideshow figure. This is the Sideshow Phantom. So that's a pretty cool figure of almost not really the same height. The Sideshow one's a way taller, and yeah, it just looks good. They do look good next to each other, but just something seems a little off with them. So you know what I mean. It's still pretty cool to see them. I think I really do like this one more than the Red Death, I think, for the Phantom. I'm not sure. And then we have the original NECA released Phantom, and both of these guys look so good together, and I'm so happy we got these two together. It's so cool. I am just blown away that we have these figures. It is so cool to have the Phantom here with us along with his Red Death look. I think that's just fantastic. When it comes to this entire look, it just looks so good, and I'm so glad that we got this figure. Now, here is all of my Phantoms. I'm running out of things to say right now because, I mean, we talked about everything we talked about, but here it is, the entire Phantom of the Opera look. I really do like this entire wave of figures here, and this is definitely a really cool figure to celebrate the 100 years of the Phantom, and it's just such a good movie. I know a lot of people don't like the silent film movies and just think they're outdated. Personally, I really love silent film movies, so they just hold a special spot in my heart, and like Nosferatu, I think the original is so much better than the remake. That's just kind of my opinion. But for this figure, getting back on track a little bit, this figure is awesome. I do say that the legs are very frustrating to work with. I really wish he had a double bend at the elbow, and I kind of wish the staff was on par with Sideshows, and that kind of sucks because, you know, I just don't like the sculpting of the skull, and just Sideshow did their staff so much better. But everything else I really do like, and I think they did a phenomenal job with everything. A little bit of QT issues with paint, with the hat specifically, but everything else is beautiful, and I think this guy deserves a 4.8. I'd say 4.8. Just the main thing that brings it down is standing this figure. That's my main issue. But everything else is great. But that is basically all I have to talk about.